Hey YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Sean Austin here again from Sean's RABBITRY and Aquaponic Produce, and we're back with another rabbit farming video for you guys. This week we're continuing our series on sustainability, and today we'll be talking about waste management. So stay tuned, we'll be back with more right after the intro. Okay guys, we're back. Now today we're talking about waste management. So as far as that goes on the farm, a lot of waste is generated. So let's talk about that. Right off the bat, one of the first waste products that we have on the rabbit farm is rabbit manure, rabbit droppings. The first thing you're going to need to do is to have an area where you can deposit your rabbit droppings, so that you can dry it and then decide what you want to do with it. If you have earthen floors, obviously you won't clean as regularly as us. We have concrete floors, so we clean every day and wash down. Now after that rabbit manure is dried, you can decide what you want to do with it. You can package it and sell it, which I suggest, so you can create another form of income, or you can compost it. Now rabbit manure doesn't necessarily have to be composted, because unlike most other manures, it's a cold manure, so it can be used directly on your plants and in your garden without, having any detrimental effect to your plants. However, depending on your feeding regime, you may include other things like grasses and hay and stuff like that. So there'll be a lot of other material in there rather than just the droppings when you're cleaning up. You will even have wasted feed and all of that good stuff. So all of that could be heaped up and composted to create a nice nutrient-rich compost that could then be added to your garden, to your fields, to enrich your soil to produce crops. I know from personal experience, because I utilize a lot of that composted rabbit manure here on the farm to grow things for my own personal use, not necessarily for sale, to reduce my spending at the market. So I try as much to grow a lot of the crops that I like to consume using the rabbit manure. That way I don't have to buy those things, and I save a bit of money and I redirect that waste, that in a lot of cases might just end up in a landfill somewhere. Second major waste product that comes out of your farm is, of course, rabbit urine. Now in most cases, if you have earthen floors, your rabbit urine will probably just be absorbed into the soil, into the dirt. If you have concrete floors like us, then it runs down into the drain. Now, remember, we're looking at sustainability, so we also have to consider the effect that we are having on the environment. Now, we know that rabbit urine is very high in ammonia. Now, if you constantly send that down the drain into your natural waterways, eventually it's going to have some effect. You're going to cause the algal bloom and things like that. What you should do is direct most of your liquid waste through what we like to call constructed wetlands. That is a series of beds or channels that you dig, and you then grow specific wetland vegetation in these channels where the water is passing through. And these vegetation will then remove most of the excess nutrients or contaminants before it then flows on to the natural waterways, where it would normally have done some type of harm to the environment. Now in Trinidad we use dasheen. I think most people will be familiar with that. In other parts of the world they may use other types of vegetation, but dasheen is the main one that we use here. So in that case, if you do use dasheen, you can also harvest the leaves of the dasheen for cooking or to sell. So there's another way you could create a little income there, or save some money by growing something that you can utilize for yourself. On the other hand, if you have your rabbitry set up in such a way where you can collect the rabbit urine, then that's also a benefit. If you notice this cage behind me here, all the downboards at the end of it, there's guttering, so that the urine runs down the guttering and it can then be collected at a specific point, either in a bucket or a barrel or something like that. If you can collect the rabbit urine, then there's another opportunity for you to start utilizing this rabbit urine as organic fertilizer. I've seen in a number of countries where they are actually purchasing the urine from farmers. So a lot of farmers have gone into rabbit production solely for the production of urine, because the fertilizer companies are purchasing the urine from them to create liquid fertilizer. Now, on your own as well, rabbit urine, when diluted, can also be used as an organic pesticide. So there's another option there for you to help you recycle some of that waste urine. So these are things that you could consider. Now, there's another significant waste stream that a lot of people probably don't think about, especially in the beginning when you're thinking about getting into rabbits, and that is the waste produced from slaughtering. Okay, so if you're rearing rabbits, especially for meat production, you're going to be doing a lot of slaughtering and processing of meat, and as a result, you're going to be producing a lot of entrails and bits of the rabbit that don't necessarily go into consumption that you're going to need to dispose of. I'd be curious to know how you all dispose of all your entrails, all the persons who are processing large quantities of rabbit meat. Let me know how you dispose of it, because that is something I'm really curious about, because we farm in an area of the country that is predominantly used for agriculture. So there are large expanses of land here, so a lot of persons would bury their slaughter waste. I know there are some unscrupulous persons who just simply dump it. I've passed in certain areas and I see a lot of carrion birds feasting there, so I know that persons have dumped waste material there. That's very responsible. Don't want to encourage that at all. But I know most of the farmers up here, especially the dairy farmers, they usually bury the entrails. Now, as we're talking about the entrails of the rabbit, there is a significant amount of that could be used for pet meat, and that's what we do. So like when you're gutting the rabbits, all the parts that we don't consume or that we don't sell for consumption, like let's say the heads, the feet, lungs, the heart, kidneys, liver to some extent, because most of the times I keep the livers for home use because I love liver, but a certain amount of it goes towards that pet meat market as well. Yeah, but most of this could be used as pet meat, and that's what we do. You could sell it, but in our case we don't sell it because we have dogs, so we usually keep it to feed our dogs, so that reduces our food bill in terms of providing for them. Depending on your method of processing, if you're skinning, you could keep the pelts. I have a few pelts around here that I processed just recently, just for trial purposes. I know in many countries the pelts are used to create different types of clothing and accessories and stuff like that, so that is also an option that you could utilize. It's not really an option for us personally, because the way that rabbit meat is processed in Trinidad and Tobago, most of the rabbits are singed, so that means the fur is actually burnt off, so the meat is sold with the skin on, so you don't really have the option to create too many pelts. But if you're in an area or you have a market that requires mostly rabbits that are skinned, then definitely you could save the pelts and create some type of market for that. Y'all give me some ideas about that, right? What do you all do with the pelts if you're skinning? What do you do with the pelts? If you do tan them and save them, what do you do? Is there a market for this here? Don't know of any market just as yet in Trinidad and Tobago, but I'm sure there's one that we could create if we have enough pelts to supply. Finally, now coming back again to the entrails, I said a lot of farmers bury them. I want you guys to tell me what you do with it. But here at Children's Rabbitry, all our entrails and bits and pieces that we don't want anymore, they go into our biodigester. So that is another option for you, because biogas production is actually one of the thriving industries around the world. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube, especially when a lot of these Asian countries, I've seen, and in Africa as well, I see where they've run home projects where they're helping individual homes to set up small biogas digesters at the back of their house to consume all the organic waste that they produce in their home, and they are converting that organic waste back into biogas, which they can then utilize in their home for heating and cooking and things like that. So that is also an option that you can explore. You know, they can be done somewhat inexpensively if you're on a small scale, but I think if you're going on a large scale, it's going to require some type of monetary investment. However, if you are a registered farmer here in Trinidad and Tobago, I believe that there is an incentive program. I'm not sure of the figure. If you have the document, please post it in the comment section so that persons could benefit from that information. But I know there's a government incentives for persons who are interested in installing biogas digesters. So that's something you guys could look at. Okay, so I'm not sure if I left anything out. If I did, if you can think of anything that I left out, drop it in the comments below. Let me know. I can mention it in a following video. At the end of the day, the idea is to share information that would be useful so all of us can learn and grow together. Okay, so guys, I hope you found this information useful. If it's your first time pulling up, please hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the little bell so you'll turn on notifications so you'll know whenever we release new content. If you like this video, please give us a big thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm, you know, let them know that you want to see more content like this. On behalf of myself and my business partner Sean McLean, I say thanks for tuning in. Glad you guys were here. We look forward to seeing you in our next video. Peace.